Good morning! Welcome to the 100% restoration and remodel of my great-great-grandfather's $7,000 mansion. We are currently in the middle of digging the underground movie theater, but we got 1.6 inches of rain last night, so it is an absolute swamp down there, so we are not going to be doing any underground movie theater digging today. We are going to be working in the basement. I'm really looking forward to the day we get stairs back in here because going down this ladder is a little sketchy. For the last couple weeks, Roman and I have been working on getting the sewer system installed, we've been installing drains, and we even installed a radon mitigation system. So we are at the point we are getting ready to pour a concrete floor. And before we can pour that concrete floor, there's a few things that we need to get done. The first thing we need to do has to do with this black pipe right here. See how we can see pipe here, but then over here it's covered with the rock? Well, that's because some areas in the basement have more rock than others. Some spots are low, some spots are high. So Roman and I need to come in and level out the high spots and fill in the low spots so that way we have a flat gravel floor. Then when we come in and pour concrete, we have an even consistency of depth all the way out through the entire basement. So for task number one, between this room and these two rooms over here, we are going to be leveling out about 1,500 square feet of rock. And for task number two, we are going to be picking up our shovels and firing up the concrete mixer because we have some dirt to dig and we have some concrete to pour. For whatever reason, 100 years ago in the area underneath of the entryway, they decided, you know what, we don't need concrete walls that go down below the ground. The ground level's about here, and we got about 10 inches of concrete below that, but underneath that, there is absolutely no footer, no foundation wall, no nothing. It's just dirt. So in order for us to make the area behind me look like the area beside me, we need to come in here with a shovel. We need to dig out an area where our concrete is going to go. We're gonna build a rebar structure inside of there. We're also going to dig out and build a rebar structure where the footer is going to be located. And then we're gonna come in here and pour concrete. While we have our concrete mixer already dirty, we are going to pull this over to this little spot underneath this center foundation wall of the house. And we have this little spot where we need to finish pouring this footer. And once we get those projects done, our last task is for us to figure out a way where we can remove these poles from this room so that way we can make this room more open. Roman, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for this?
10.
I like the spirit.
Can't you tell?
For our first task, which is to level out all of the gravel in the basement, we need to come up with some calculations so that way we know exactly what height we need to bring our gravel to. We already know that this floor drain is going to be equal to the top of the concrete floor. They call this grade. This is going to be the grade for the concrete floor, and from right here to the bottom of our floor joist is exactly 8 feet. We're gonna have 6 inches of concrete in the basement, and underneath that concrete there is going to be 2 inches of insulation. So that means that we need to have 8 inches from the top of our floor drain to the top of our rock. So that way we have room for the 2 inches of insulation and the 6 inches of concrete, and then the top of the concrete will be exactly equal to the top of the drain. Now instead of doing this the super hard way, we already know that the top of the drain to the bottom of the floor joist above us is 8 feet. So if we're gonna be adding 8 more inches to that, we know that the top of our rock needs to be 8 feet, 8 inches from the bottom of our floor joist. So we just simply cut a 2x4 that is 8 feet, 8 inches long, and then we just set it on the rock down there, and then if it just barely touches the bottom of our floor joist like this is, then we know we are at the exact height with the rock that we need to be. So right there, we know that's good. We just need to move this board like 10,000 times throughout the entire basement, every couple feet or so, and then we'll get the basement done. After shoveling and raking for a while, this room, there was 3 extra wheelbarrows full of rock in it, and then we needed to bring an entire skid loader bucket of rock into this room. But now we have a level gravel floor. Just look at that thing of beauty. Absolutely beautiful. Just look at it. The only little bit of rock that we have left is right here in the entranceway, but we are not going to mess with this until we get underneath of the entranceway done. And Roman is already hard at work, starting to shovel out our foundation wall form, and he'll start digging the footer as well. And today is one of those 87-degree, 87% humidity days, and it's toasty down here. The part of the foundation wall that Roman is digging is directly underneath of me. It's right underneath of the doorway of the house. So in order for us to fill that cavity up from the top, I need to dig a hole right here so that way we have an access point to it where we can dump our concrete down into, and then we can also get our vibrator in there to make sure we're filling up all the air voids, and then we get a full concrete fill from the top all the way to the bottom. So we're gonna be working up here, and sorry we're not gonna be able to see what Roman's doing down there because he's down in a hole, it's dark, and honestly, there's no room for a camera. Hey Roman, nobody's gonna believe how fast you're digging down there, so show a little before so that they know that you're actually digging it. No, you show them right now.
Here's what I'm digging.
There we have it, the commencement of task number 2. I'm gonna be working up here, Roman's gonna be working down there. I should get done a lot sooner than Roman, but as fast as he works, he's probably gonna be done way before me. We're gonna race Roman. Oh boy. I'm about an hour into my digging adventure, and we have now broken through into the area where Roman is digging out. Once we got broken through, we realized we need to slide over a little bit. So I'm gonna take the jackhammer and break out some of this concrete. I actually need to have my hole about right here because there's a piece of concrete underneath of this doorway, and there's a really high spot right there. So we want to try to hit the high spot, so that way we can try to get the concrete in the high spot, and then we'll be able to fill that all the way up and then fill the entire void underneath of the door. Because if we put it in right here, this high spot is not going to get concrete up inside of it because we can't make concrete flow uphill. So I have some more jackhammering and digging to do. There we have it. Our hole down into where Roman is digging is moved over 16 inches, and we are ready to pour concrete down this hole and fill that up. Using the concrete calculator on calculator.net, I put in all the dimensions of our wall and our footer, and we need 52 bags of concrete for the wall, and we need 32 bags of concrete for the footer, so we need 82 bags. Which, if my experience has told me anything, if the concrete calculator says we need 82 bags, we probably need more like 95 to 100. And we can't forget, that's not our only pour. We have this other footer over here that we need to get poured. Granted, this one is not nearly as big, but it's still gonna end up taking us a couple bags. So I think if we get 100 bags, we should be able to get that poured over there, and we should be able to get this poured over here. Let's see what we currently have for concrete. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. There's 8 in a row, so we got 32 there. There's 2 on top, 34. Looks like there's 8 on the bottom, 42. And then this broken one makes 43. 64 bags come on a pallet. So if I get one more pallet, we will have enough to get done with the projects we're working on right now. We are going to have for sure 1, potentially 2 more pours on the next part of the foundation wall underneath of the entrance to the house. So I might as well get 2 more pallets while I am at the store buying concrete. And I just looked up the inventory on our closest store to us, and they're completely out of concrete. So I have to go to the next closest store, which is about an hour away. And so now I have a little bit more of a road trip than I anticipated. To be completely honest, I would really like to use a concrete truck for this because we could just pull it up right in here. We could stop here, put the chute out, just dump it in. That would literally be done in not even 10 minutes. could probably take like 2. But the problem is we need about 1.3 yards of concrete to do that area. A concrete truck, they only do it in 1 yard increments. So either we have to get 1 or we have to get 2. And if we get 2, we basically have like $150 worth of concrete that we are not going to be using. Plus we're going to be getting an extra $100 small load fee. So now basically we have $250 extra into this little pool right here than what we would if we just do the bags. So the bags are going to take us a little bit longer. Sure, it's going to cost us a little bit more in time and effort, but those two things are really what's kind of putting a hamper on us being able to use a concrete truck right here. And also, we can't forget the fact that we already have half the concrete we need over there. So then that concrete would just be sitting there and we've already paid for that. So we want to use what we have and we want to be as conscientious with their dollars as we can on stuff like this. So we are going to be using the bagged concrete. Whoever invented the reverse camera with the little trailer hitch line thingy on it, you are an absolute genius. And even with that, I'm probably still not getting lined up right here. Nope, I gotta pull forward. Whoops, let's try this again. Here we go. Maybe. And whoever invented the hydraulic jack, also absolute genius. Gotta back up about that far. Perfect. Trailer's hooked up, trailer's cleaned off. We are now ready to go to Menards. It is 5:57. Let's see if we can get there by 6:57. After a non-eventful drive, we made it, and it is, less than an hour. Good job. So here's the mission. We're going in. We're not gonna stop to talk to people. We're gonna go right to the back. We're gonna get what we need. We're gonna pay. We're gonna come out. We're gonna get loaded up, and we're gonna get out of here. And it is not going to take us an hour. Okay, here we go. Little pro tip: if you don't want to get stopped by people, don't walk down the main aisle. Walk down the side aisle. Probably the aisle that you never see anybody on the most is going to be your dog food / bird food aisle, and then that transitions over here into like, what is that? Chicken bedding? Yeah, nobody walks through these aisles, so if you go in there, you're not gonna be bothered. I got my stuff and I turned around and then I got stopped and talked to, but that's okay. He was a nice man, so. And he doesn't live very far from me, actually. But quick, curt conversation. Oh, I'm dodging. I see somebody who may know me. Okay, we're gonna get loaded up. In and out of here in an hour. That's the goal. We did it. Okay, I will admit I did talk to the cashier for a little bit. Nice lady. She redid her farmhouse years ago too, so she understands what I'm going through. We connected. Wow, somebody really knows how to park and take up 4 spots plus block half the aisle on the other side. Good job, guy. Let's see if we can sneak by the shimmy. Oh yeah, all kinds of room. Okay, now we know the drill. Okay, first we gotta make sure my trailer's not gonna bonk him. But we gotta get close to this little kiosk thing, and my mirror sticks out 6 miles, so we are going to try not to rip this thing off accidentally. We're gonna see what we can do. Oh boy, that's close, that's close, that's close, that's close. Oh. Compared to our local Menards, I really like this backyard. There is so much more room over here. You can fly through here if you want to. Not saying I want to go fast, but you just have room to actually navigate around. With our local one, in order to get into the wood area, if I have this trailer on, I'm just about rubbing the shelves pulling into it with the truck going in and with the trailer trailing behind me. So in here, you can just shoot straight in. So I really like the layout of this place. There we go. I lost a little time on my pit stop here, getting this thing all strapped down. I think I could maybe tighten that one another notch or two. Oh yeah, she ain't going anywhere now. There was a little baby mishap when I ordered 3 pallets, and a pallet has 56 on it. And so I get all the way to the front, I check out, hop in the truck, drive back here, and then I go to give it to the forklift guy, and it's got 118 bags on it, and I need 168. So somehow the guy put in 2 bags, or 2 pallets, plus gave me 4 extra bags on the order sheet. So then I had to go in and get 50 more bags to equal me out to 168 bags total, which is 3 pallets. Not the end of the world. We got everything taken care of. Just added another 10 minutes or so, but hey, we got loaded up in 30 minutes. We're doing good. There we have it, quick and painless. It is 7:29. Let's see if we can make it home by 8:30. Unfortunately, I cannot drive full speed when I'm loaded up because this trailer has some heavy axles underneath of it, and there's just enough bumps on the highway. It just makes you do this going down the road. So I have to go a little bit slower. And just like that, we are now back. It is 8:24. It's been a second for you. It's been 12 hours for me. Looking on the horizon, we have rain coming in 3 hours, so we better get to it because we have 3 hours worth of work, and we do not want to get rained out. Ooh, that got a little loose. Straps did their job, though. Kept everything from falling off. Could have gone for a tighten, though. Okey-dokey. Better untie this one. So there are two types of strap people. There's the people who do the nice fancy kind of stuff like this, or they wrap it all up in here and they tie it nice and tight. Or there are the people who just simply run it up and then just do a little knot like this. Which one are you? You're either one or you're the other. Which in the case of me, since, you know, I'm so special, I did both in this case. Let's see how Roman's making out in the basement, and then we will know how ready we are for concrete. And we got to be careful not to step in that. That would hurt. And now we just got to make it down the sketchy ladder, and then we will be in 100% safety. Whew, we made it. Okay, what do we got going on here? Looks like he's got his back wall made, end wall is made. We just have a little bit of the footer to dig out, and then we have to put in our rebar structure. Then put in a piece of plywood on the front for a form, and then we should be ready to pour. We need 3 pieces at 50 inches and 6 pieces at 40 inches. And then once we get that done, I got a couple other measurements I need to take. But those are our main ones. All of our rebar pieces are now cut. We are on our final step, which is going to require our thinking cap. I have a piece of rebar here in the vise. I need to figure out how we are going to reinforce the corners, so I'm hoping I can clamp this thing inside of the vise and then just yank on it and I can get it to go into a 90-degree angle. I really don't know if this is gonna work. We're gonna find out, and it feels like it's going. Perfect 87 degrees. Uh-oh, it looks like it's raining. Roman is now finishing up the last of the digging of the footer, and we cannot do anything else until Roman gets that footer done. We can't lay the rebar in, we can't build the form, we can't pour the concrete, because we gotta get the dirt out of there first. It is a one-guy job over in that corner because it's kind of small, so while we are waiting for Roman to finish digging over there, I'm going to see if I can address these poles that are in the middle of this room. We actually have a pole here. There's another pole here, and there's another pole there. They're really ugly looking, and more importantly, they just really disrupt the flow of the room because they're incredibly intrusive. And so the entire reason why these poles are here is so that way I can hold up this beam. This beam is holding the center of the rooms above us up. It keeps them from sagging down. So what I would like to do is measure from this pole over here right on the corner of this, and then we're going to measure all the way to the other end to this concrete wall over here, because what I'm hoping we can do is build a beam up inside of here, the pole right on top of this concrete wall, so I'll actually be hidden inside of this wall. And then we have some huge I-beams over on another farm that I'm hoping we can just replace this LVL we have right now with that giant I-beam. Then our pole would be hidden inside of that wall over there. And then there is going to be another wall over here for where the bathroom is. And if that I-beam reaches all the way to here, then we'd have our pole inside of the wall over here. And then the entire area in the middle would be completely open, which would be nice, because then we don't have to deal with the poles, and it would just make the basement be a lot bigger. And I really don't know what else we're going to use the giant I-beam that we have sitting there for. So if we can find a good home for it, we might as well use it. 5 meters. Wait, wrong side of the tape. 19 feet, 20 feet. Looks like to the corner, 31 feet, 4 inches. So I believe our I-beams are 40 feet long. We need to go measure them for sure. But as long as we are longer than 31 feet, 4 inches, we should be able to make this work. It looks like Roman is now done with all of his digging. Now notice how we have this rebar sticking out of the concrete that we already have poured. This runs all the way into here, so it ties everything together. So just like how we did it here, we need to do the same thing going around the corner over into there, because we are going to be pouring concrete over here next once we get this done. So in order for us to go around the corner, this is why I bent those pieces of rebar. So we're gonna get them in here, and then we'll pound them in, so they're gonna be in the wall about that far, and then this will be sticking out in our next pour for everything to adhere to. Dun, 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 dun. Our rebar is now in. We have our footer thing all put together. We got all the stuff going around the corner into the next area. So when we dig this out, everything will be tied together. All we got to do now is take that piece of plywood, flip it up on its side, slide it against the wall, and then it'll go right here, right behind this dirt. And then this dirt will keep it from flipping out. We'll build some supports on the backside over here and some boards going across here to keep it from flipping out. And then we'll be ready to pour concrete right through our hole right there. While I was down there laying in the rebar, it stopped raining, but looking on the horizon, it looks like more rain is coming. So I have a couple more pieces of rebar I need to cut because I forgot to lay in a couple, and hopefully we can get this poured before the rain comes. Next up, we need to bring our concrete over. Oh boy, man, this thing is filthy. Look at that window. Oh, yeah. Okay, we're good. Here we go. Okie dokie, I got all the concrete down here into the basement, everything we're gonna need down and over there, and then the other stuff on the pallets we got right in front of the door where we're gonna be pouring up there. While we were loading up the concrete, Roman was hard at work. He has been getting this thing formed up in here. See how he's got the bracing going across, bracing up this back wall, so that way our plywood won't come in. And then on the inside, we're using the dirt as a natural form. It looks like he's just got a little piece to do right there, and then we will be ready to pour. Actually, the more that I think about it, I already got these bags right here, and these bags should be enough to do this little spot right over here, so I think I can get started on this one by myself. We're about an hour into our pour so far. Roman's dumping bags and dumping everything down in, and then I'm making sure everything is going okay here with the form and making sure the concrete's all vibrated and leveled out and getting into all the little cracks and crevices. If we look inside there, we can see we got concrete up. It's kind of been a little more difficult down to get into this end, where the vibrator's really helping me get it down into this corner. And then I'm also making sure that the bottom of this plywood, that the concrete does not get too high on it, otherwise it'll get up on the side of the board. Then when we go to pull this out, once the concrete's hard, it's going to be surrounded in concrete and we are not going to be able to get it out. So I need to make sure that I keep this cut down. Here's a prime example. I just ran the vibrator, so my concrete kind of came up a little bit, so now I got to make sure I get it all mashed down. If it gets too high, then I can just scoop it up and then I throw it in here over in the top. Then Roman's going to be dumping down right here. Roman's definitely got the hard job here, but that is not to say that mine down here is not important. This is very important. Oh, got a nice high spot there. Oh. Almost dumping concrete. We're making some serious progress. We're about 6 inches from the top of this board. Once we get to the top of this board, then I'll take this other board and I'll slap it up here, and then we'll get everything all covered up. We'll screw it in. We'll get all of our bracing done. And then we will have to go up top where Roman is pouring the concrete in right now, and we will have to do all of our vibrating up there. So we want to make sure that we're getting this corner. We want to make sure we're getting this void completely full. And most importantly, we want to make sure that we get this area over here. It's going to be a challenge bringing that concrete all the way from over here into here. But I think between a combination of banging with a hammer in here and running the vibrator from the top, we'll be able to get this filled. We want it to look like this, where everything is covered 100%. We don't want to leave voids. Take a look, take a look, take a look, take a look, take a look. We got done pouring the concrete. Everything was going 100% perfect on this pour until the DIY form started to do the things that DIY forms do, and that is this piece of plywood started to bow out. I should have been thinking before I got started and put in some more of these supports ahead of time, but I was able to come in last minute as the concrete's starting to set up, and we patched together a whole bunch of random pieces of boards here, and then all the gaps and stuff that formed from our piece of plywood coming out. We were able to stuff these grocery store bags inside of there, and then we did have to cut out a spot here on the top because the time we took to do all this, the concrete started to do its first set, so we couldn't really use the vibrator on it very much anymore. It just wasn't moving. So we took the Sawzall, cut out a spot. Luckily, we were able to get the vibrator in there, vibrate to that corner, vibrate to this corner. Then we put a piece of 2x4 on there, and then I was able to use a hammer on the inside while Roman was using the vibrator on the outside. Then we were able to get the hard spots. This corner, it was a difficulty, but we did get it filled. Look, you can see all the concrete coming up. We got everything full on height. It's actually above the existing foundation that used to be here. So now this should be waterproof, bug proof, water, air, whatever proof. And I mean, it's not going to look the prettiest, but hey, there's actually going to be a staircase right here, so that is never even going to be seen. It just needs to be able to hold up the wall, and it needs to keep critters, water, and air out, which it is going to do. So I'd say we achieved exactly what we were trying to do. But we did learn for next time. More supporting on the bottom. That will help us a lot, and it'll give us a lot nicer finished product, or nicer looking. Holy cow, I just realized that with the completion of this and the completion of this footer over here, the only foundation slash footer concrete stuff that we need to do is right here where this old chimney used to be. We just need to basically frame it up, take out a little bit of brick. We'll fill this cavity with concrete, and then we can finish building up the wall right here. And then underneath where we just poured the concrete, we just have that last piece to put a foundation wall and to put a footer. Holy cow, we have come so far, and we are now this close to getting started on just the building stuff. We're done with the demolition. We're done with the coming in and rebuilding things and supporting things to be able to work on an area. We're this close to being done with the really slow stuff. And then when we get to the construction things, especially over here, but over here as well, things are just going to move so quickly. For the last 7 months while we've been working on this, you get done at the end of the day and you're like, man, I feel like we should have got 4 times as much done as we did, but it's just all those little tedious little things that need to be done, but just take time. But when we get to the new construction, you're gonna get that 4 times more done in a day, because it's just putting things together, setting it up, and building it. And I am looking forward to it. Now, before it gets dark on us, we have one last thing we need to do. We need to get a measurement on that I-beam, because if it's not long enough, we need to be getting an I-beam figured out, so that way we know what we're going to be doing to get rid of the poles, or if we even can get rid of the poles in the basement. We have to trudge through the tall grass and weeds to get to them, but here they are. We got 2 of them. They're a little bit hidden right now, but oh man, I think these are longer than 31 feet 4 inches. There's only one way to find out. Oh yeah, 41 feet. Now, you guys okay? Took a hard fall right on the concrete. You look all right. Whew. Good job, good job. 41 feet though. We got plenty. As far as between the two, I think this back one is going to be the one that we want to use. This one, it looks like it's starting to get a little rusty and it's kind of flaking off, so that might not be the strongest. Now the top of this one, that appears to be 1/2 inch thick, and then I would say the webbing 3/16 of an inch maybe, which for what it's going to be holding up, it should be more than enough. And if we really feel we need to, we can always put in some gussets inside of this, and then it would make it really strong. You just put one here, you put one here, you put one here, the whole way. But to be completely honest, I feel like that would be overkill, but we do have that option if we need to, but this beam is going to work. Now we just have to figure out how we're gonna get it into the basement. So there we have it. Concrete's poured. We got the I-beam stuff figured out. We got everything done today that we wanted to get done. I'm tired. I'm going to bed. This is all I got for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.